All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. Let's start writing more programs. So, the last program that we did, we look like this. I'm going to, again, copy it. I had done that before, but I screwed up, so I'm going to do a file. Let's close this. File, close all. So file, new, Java project, and we're going to call this Chapter02 Payroll 01. All right. Finish. There, that is. New class. We will again call it payroll. We don't need to put a main in here because as soon as it comes up, we're going to remove everything that's there and copy the old stuff that we had there. All right. So this will be a second payroll program demonstrating the scanner class shown in Chapter 2 of our GATIS textbook. So in order to do that, we need to import java.util.scanner. Again, that's needed for the scanner class keyboard object, which we are about to create. All right. The other thing we want to do is we want to not declare and initialize, but we want to declare and initialize these with default values. All right. Previously, what we did in here was we initialized them with what we call hard-coded values. All right. So let me now close this. We'll keep this. All right, so I don't want Jeff. I don't want Scott. I don't want 40. I don't want 10. All right. So that's all cool. So we've added a new comment. We imported java.util.scanner. We still get this because we're not using it yet. As it says, the import is never used. We're going to use it now. There's our class header. There's our method header. Again, these are both inside of curly braces because this is a block-structured language. We are again creating our variables, but this time, rather than initializing them with hard-coded values, we are this time just giving them default values. So I'm going to come in here and say create scanner class keyboard object. We could call this anything we wanted. We don't have to call it keyboard, but many people do because it is a keyboard. All right, I'm again going to get this. Well, now I get that because I got a print there. Telling me that it's not being used. And it says resource leak that it's never closed. So what I should do at the very bottom of my program is to say close scanner object to avoid possible memory leak. It's always recommended that you do that. So at the very bottom here, I'm going to add here keyboard.close. All right, so that'll close that. Now I've opened it and I've closed it, but I want to do something in between. So first I want to say system.out.print, and I want to say enter your first name. All right, and then first name, which is a string, so since it's a string, we say equals keyboard dot next line. This is all in your book. So notice now I am using this, and this all my stuff that's come in here said that I had stuff that wasn't being used is gone. So I can take that, copy it, and have it say enter your last name, and that will now become last name. And I can copy it again, and here we'll say enter your hours worked, which will be hours. Now I can't say here keyboard.nextLine because that's done with strings. Notice I already get the underline there, and if I put my mouse here for the error, it says type mismatch, can't convert a string to a double. So instead of next string or next line, this has to be next double. And then notice the underline there goes away. This will say enter your hourly rate, and this will be rate. Everything else remains the same. And again, I've got my keyboard close at the bottom. So I'm going to run this. Now notice how it's different. I am being prompted at the bottom for a first name. All right, so I'm going to put my wife's name in there, Sandy. Last name, Scott. Enter hours worked. Let's say she worked 50. Enter hourly rate. Let's say it's 25. So first name, Sandy. Last name, Scott. 50, 25, and 12.50. Now I'm going to add, I want there to be a couple blank lines here. And I only need one blank line there. So I'm going to change that stuff, and then we'll put this program to rest. So before my first name here, just to show you, we can have another system.out.println. And the only thing we're going to put in there is \n\n. So again, we've got some blank spaces. All right. And let's do this too. Before we enter each one of these, let's put a \n here. And I'm just doing aesthetic stuff now because the program works just fine. Whoops, not that. \n, enter. There we go. And only want one \n here before it says end of program run. So let's run that again. Alec Baldwin. Now notice I've got the spacing so it's a little more laid out. He worked 10 hours, but he makes $100 an hour. So there we've got it. Alec Baldwin, 10, 100. I also don't like that there's too many lines in here, so I'm going to cut that down to 1 also. Now I can do whatever I want to, need to, etc. do in here. So in other words, if I want to, all right, I can come in here and I can do this. So that's a blank line. After the blank line, I can put in 25 dashes. How about 35? All right, so that'll put a blank line, a bunch of dashes, and then let's do this. We'll say \n program outputs \n. All right. Again, I'm just being right now, just playing, for lack of better words. Jeff, Scott, 25 hours, $20 an hour. So now program outputs. Okay. If I wanted to, and this is the last I'll do, and then I'll stop here, I could have taken that line, and before I did any of these, I could have come in here and said program inputs. All right, right there. And I don't really need a blank line first. My dashes and program inputs. Run it again. And there's my dashes, program inputs. That's nice. Bob, White, 10, 10. All right, Bob White, 10, 10. That looks good. I'm going to run it one more time to show you that right now, if we keep running this, sooner or later, whoops, we're going to put in something we shouldn't, and the program's going to blow up. All right, so let's fix that. We do have program inputs there. Why does it say inputs? That's interesting. Oh, because that's up here. So, for the first name, Bill. The last name, green. But I'm going to, now, when it asks me for the hours worked, I'm just going to hit enter. All right, in fact, I'll put in hello. I get what's called an exception. Notice it says here, I had a problem in Maine on line 31, so it's letting me know the problem was right here. It was asked to enter the hours worked, but I put in a value that couldn't be converted over to a double. So the system is trying to help me. Let's run this one more time and make sure I've got their program inputs good. Ken Klein 10 10 Ken Klein 10 10 100. That all looks good. All right. So as I have been doing, and I'm going to do this one more time, Control A, Control C to copy. Let's do a file save all just to be sure we've got everything up. We don't even have to, it says it's all been saved. So let's do a file, close all, and we'll do a file, new Java project. We'll create this. Our new project name will be Chapter02 Payroll 02. Finish. Right mouse click on that. New class, which we are again calling payroll. We can leave everything else as it is. Click finish. We don't want this. We're going to replace that with our old program. So when I come back, I'm going to demonstrate the input dialog and the message dialog, J option pane stuff shown in Chapter 2 of our book. In fact, let's pretty that up just a tad. All right, so we'll do that when we come back in just a couple.